Welcome to the Profit Trap Podcast, Health Insurance Industry Secrets, for anyone that will ever own or use health insurance in their lifetime. Health Insurance Information Alert. How many different ways do you think an insurance company can charge you for claims? Let's get started. Health insurance companies charge you for claims by which method they pay benefits on those claims. First, you need to understand not all plans pay claims the same. Two plans that are the same exact plan from different carriers that cover the same condition all cover claims based on how their benefits are structured to pay out, which may not be what you are charged for medical services. You must know how your benefits are paid out to protect yourself from financial harm when experiencing healthcare needs. There are many different ways health insurance companies pay claims. There are usual and customary charges, customary charges, and reasonable charges, scheduled benefit charges, limited benefit charges, benefit maximum charges, annual maximum charges, regular charges, and actual charges, or the pre-negotiated or repricing rates that have been established between the carrier and the provider. These are some of the ways of being exposed to the health insurance industry on how health insurance companies usually determine the dollar amount of a benefit a company will pay for medical treatments. Each one of these benefit guidelines may determine different amounts that are not usually in your favor except for one method of payment, actual costs, or the pre-negotiated rate set between the medical provider and the health insurance company. Usual and customary charges may be determined by the health insurance company for a geographic area and can be usually determined by current statistical samplings of charges in today's market where the medical services are provided. Usual, customary, and reasonable charges are almost always determined by the health insurance company. The reasonable charge they will pay is regardless of the amount the physician charges. Normally, they take several hundred of physicians that perform a specific medical procedure in a geographic region to determine the dollar benefit level paid out. That they deem is usual, customary, and reasonable. Usual, customary, and regular charges are determined in much the same way that usual, customary, and reasonable are, except this payment method is usually determined by the normal or regular charge for that procedure in a geographic area, not what is deemed a reasonable cost, but what is a regular charge for that procedure. Scheduled, limited, maximum, and annual maximum benefits. This is where you have a ceiling on the amount the company will cover for a condition, and you will be liable for any cost above the amount covered. These benefits may be covered on a percentage basis like 50% or 100% of their approved benefit amounts. Actual cost or pre-negotiated or repricing rates are set in stone usually by the agreement between the health insurance company and the physician or provider, which almost always will be a lower cost for the procedures than any of the benefit payouts we have just explained. Understand cost for the same procedure may be drastically different, ranging from a new physician in practice to a specialist in the area of treatment that was performed and the location they are in. Usually the health insurance company will choose to cover the lower end of the dollar amounts from the providers for the costs analyzed. You could be out of pocket for the rest of those costs. This also may affect your quality of healthcare you have access to. Wouldn't you rather see a specialist than a first-year physician? Especially if the treatment was for a critical illness or a major accident, instead of worrying about how much the bill the health insurance company was going to cover? The above benefit payment methods can also leave the insured responsible for charges in excess of the benefit payment determined to pay the provider for medical services provided. A provider network is almost always attached to every method of payment. Now let's talk about some things you should know. Always ask the rate the provider has agreed to accept from the health insurance company as full payment to control your out-of-pocket additional medical costs. The worst you will hear is no, but people have saved hundreds of thousands of dollars by just asking the provider to accept what the insurance company pays as full payment or reducing your out-of-pocket costs by requesting a cost reduction. If you have a predetermined surgery or medical event, contact the hospital administration department to negotiate the cash price versus what the insurance carrier will pay and the total estimated retail bill. Remember, cash is king in healthcare. There are even new hospitals being built that operate around cash facilities only. No one has to wait for the payment from anyone or file claims. Therefore, you will receive the greatest amount of savings paying cash. With today's high deductibles, you are basically self-insured anyway. You may actually pay less out of pocket than you would by using your health insurance plan. In closing, health insurance is a financial product paid for from birth to death and should be looked at as such with the desire to maximize your benefits and lower your costs any way you can during your lifetime. Coming March 31st, 2019. Like us, follow us, share us, subscribe to us, and download us. The Profit Trap Podcast, Health Insurance Industry Secrets. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, our podcast, and the website. Depending on the media venue you are viewing right now, you may find the links below. Get connected today so you don't miss out on any of this must-have, need-to-know information to protect yourself, your family, your assets, and your future.